Hello, friends. Trigger warning here, Dylan. Coming at you just with the warning. We're going to be talking about a slasher movie, a B slasher movie from the 80s. Gets into some real slimy talk about some gross, yucky stuff that you may not want to hear about. So, it's all fake. It's all just movie magic. But I get a little descriptive, and it gets a little rough. So I just want to give a I want to give you guys a tricky warning. And beware, you're in for a scare, R.L. Stein. Alright, thanks friends. Homie out.
Are you with that? Start off, I remembered a rhyme earlier today that I like. It's like, I wrap tightly like a scarf at the market. My rhymes are so sick they'll make you barf on the carpet. It's like, so tight.
Rad.
It's by a guy, I think he's from Saskatchewan, who's named The Word Burglar. It's pretty dope.
Venomous
and you know
D.
what? It's trippy, actually. He was apparently a guy who was... Do you remember that, like, Michelina's commercial that was, like... I think it was Michelina's. It was, like, Hot Stuffs or whatever, and it's, like, the side of the building. They, like, roll down the side of the... There's, like, a blue sky, and there's, like, a building, and then they roll down, like, a huge banner of, like, Hot Stuffs.
I do not recall.
This song's like hot, 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 hot. You know that song?
Not at all.
Anyways, maybe no one will know, but maybe that was just a fever dream I had once. But what I think, but it's like, yeah, look up the Michelina's commercial over time here, and I'm telling you, there's a guy apparently in that commercial that has dreadlocks, and that is the Word Burglar.
The Word Burglar from Saskatchewan.
What?
Saskatoon?
Say that again? I bet you can't say that again.
I was like, wait, did you say Saskatchewan or Saskatoon? And I kind of thought of it.
That's pretty good.
I kind of thought of it halfway. So I'm not wrong, or I'm also not right.
He said, and there's one song that he said, and she's like, the Word Burglar. And then he's, I burgle words. Like really close to the mic. I don't know.
I love it. All right, we're going to get the meat and potatoes.
Oh, quick. No time for the Word Burglar. Go ahead.
No, what did I say that you said that I said? Or, I started and you finish? That's how we're going to open this episode.
Oh, I thought I did say it earlier. I said an ass in a chair and a perspective to share. Welcome to These Are My Friends.
There's a podcast in the woods.
Well, we out here.
We out here.
Hanging. We
got birds.
Hanging. I don't know what you mean by we out here or got birds, but...
It's all part of the illusion of the mind. This is the theater of the mind that we talk about.
Oh, there's one. There is one, actually.
She's fluttering on by.
Oh, dude, no.
It's a green, big, boobied robin.
It is not a green, big, boobied robin. Robins are rarely green.
And big boobied. All right, so how is your appreciation for old school movie slasher B material?
I am not the greatest with the trivia, but I definitely love that stuff. Definitely cool.
So, like Sam Raimi and shit like that? Like Evil Dead 2 and shit like that?
Evil Dead is okay. Evil Dead's like the top tier of that shit.
Evil Dead?
And Evil Dead 2.
2, yes, yeah. Army of Darkness?
Well, yeah, also dope. All of it's dope. Like, Bruce Campbell's the man, so like the ultimate physical actor. We should have Chris Shields on to talk about that guy, about Sam Raimi. Man.
Well, then get him to listen to this one, and then he can come on and we can have like a fucking battle. So basically what I've learned in the last little bit is I stopped watching. I didn't stop, but I don't watch a lot of movies. And then I was like, got my wisdom teeth out yesterday, and I was just like, on Xanax. I'm like, I want to watch some cool ass shit. So I go to Tubi, which is a free program, and found some sweet ass flicks.
The Teletubbies.
Oh yeah, the motion picture.
He was so friggin' flying high that shit was amazing. Anyway,
I would be surprised, not surprised if they were directed by the same people. So basically what I found my way into was a movie called The Intruder, and that's what we're going to discuss today.
Walking down 9 miles, swinging the head by the hair in one hand and his hamburger in the other, and he's still eating it.
The movie is called The Intruder. It was made in 1989.
Intruders.
It was directed by Scott Spiegel, who also co-wrote Evil Dead 2.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Scott Spiegel. I didn't realize that someone co-wrote it. That's cool.
Yeah, so it was... the first one was the first Evil Dead was just Sam Raimi. I'm pretty sure I was talking to my brother, and he told me that it was basically a labor of love movie project that he just got funding in any single way, and then it became a cult hit. So like props to Sam Raimi for doing that shit.
No doubt, yeah.
Yeah, doing like those are the real artists that make shit happen, and then they have a vision
off of a nothing budget, the shoestring budget, like,
right.
And they make a cult classic that's that top tier in quality
and lovable, and it's just like
it's so funny and scary and just like brutal. It's the whole package. That movie rules. Like, those movies are great.
So he co-wrote Evil Dead 2. So this guy that directed The Intruder had his friends and homie Sam Raimi actually act in this movie, briefly as it was. He was actually in. Sam Raimi was in it, and I have this all laid out in a way where I'll get into each and every interesting factoid / review. And spoiler alert, but not spoiler alert, but spoiler alert. I'm just going to be discussing some highlights of it. But one of the funniest things about the movie The Intruder, if you look at the cover of the VHS tape, it literally ruins the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
It's one of those ones where they gave it the whole thing away right away.
And, like, it's insane. Like, you just look at the movie and you're like...
ruins the movie right away? Like,
if you're watching the movie for 5 minutes,
you're like, oh.
You're like, wait, what? Oh. So, I'm giving a spoiler alert. I'll probably discuss
so were they.
Some stuff, but at the end of the day, like, if you look up any review on this movie, everybody's like, yeah, there's no spoiler alert because literally spoiler alert on the VHS cover. It literally ruins it.
So what if I were to... Wait a minute. Wait, so you're saying, oh, this would ruin it now. Now we're at a crossroads because either we could do your thing that you want to do now, or we could, like, I could go right now and be among the few people that just goes and doesn't look at the cover and just watches the movie and gets to be surprised.
You could.
One of the few, like the tiny % of human beings who have been actually surprised by the end of that.
To be fair, I didn't look at the cover, and it wasn't ruined for me. I didn't look at it.
How was that? So you're among the few.
It's...
Well worth it?
No. It's I'm just going to go through because I spent a lot of time in this. Yeah. But it was...
just fucking with it. Go ahead.
It's super slasher, which I love these, but it's like super cheesy B, campy slasher movie. So it's kind of predictable, but...
Oh, it's them.
It's one of those. Yeah. But anyway, so it's directed by Scott Spiegel, who also co-wrote Evil Dead 2, as I stated. He's also credited of being a fake shemp in the first Evil Dead, Scott Spiegel. What is a fake shemp, you ask?
I do ask that.
I asked that too. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, did you say fake chimp? No, he didn't.
Fake shemp. Fake shemp. So he was a fake shemp in Evil Dead 1. This is the definition according to Wikipedia. Coined by film director Sam Raimi, so Sam Raimi coined this term, is named after Shemp Howard of the Three Stooges. A fake shemp is a type of body double who appears in a film to replace another actor or person, usually when the original actor has died or is unable or unwilling to reprise their role. The appearance is disguised using methods such as heavy makeup or computer-generated equivalent, filming from the back, dubbing in audio, and splicing in past footage from the original actor's previous work, using a sound-alike voice actor or using partial shots of the actor as well. So, Sam Raimi...
Whoa.
I don't know what his whole thing.
It's like film collage. Like, imagine using edits from other people, from someone's other work.
Yeah, like
Wild.
I mean, it is. I think the most part of it is just like
audio bites.
What's that? It was Nosferatu with whatever that huge 30s horror actor was. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He died of a heroin overdose, I think, halfway through one of his Nosferatu films, and then the rest of the movie, Bela Lugosi.
Okay.
And he had to finish they had to finish the movie, and basically they just had him with his cape up the whole time, and it's like, it's not me, it's me, Bela Lugosi. I did not overdose on heroin, and they finished the movie.
They didn't think to use another actor. They just have his body up there, like
they just Weekend at Bernie's.
His cape up, yeah,
on a bunch of extension
movie
cords.
With Bernie, yeah.
But so a fake shemp is basically what I'm thinking is that because Evil Dead, we were talking at the beginning, was such a low budget production, I don't think anybody died per se. I think people left, like, this isn't going anywhere, I gotta go. And then he got some friends
walking off that shit.
Yeah, you're like, fuck. Yeah.
Later, like, oh man.
So you got some of his friends to be a fake shemp, which is just fill in so they could continue filming the movie. Anyways, so that's how I'm assuming the director of this film and Sam Raimi became to know each other.
I think it's Raimi.
I
thought you were gonna. I think it's Sam Raimi, but I might be wrong. Also,
I bounce back and forth.
Ways, but.
Yeah. So, anyways, The Intruder. We get into The Intruder. So, the plot and what do you call it? The plot points or whatever. The write-up of this film is the ex-boyfriend of a checkout girl at a supermarket returns at closing time to make trouble. The quarrel and the boyfriend is ejected from the store. After they lock the building up to take inventory, the employees start dying off, and the survivors must eventually find a way to escape with their lives. First off, they're not locked in. They can run away. And I'm just saying right out the gates, I love this movie. I loved it. I loved every moment.
Enjoyed
of it.
it. Yeah.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It could have been flying. Could have been because it just brought me back to an easier time. But regardless, I loved it. So it has Sam Raimi in it as Randy the Meat Man. It has Ted Raimi. Raimi?
That's what I've always heard.
I'll bounce back and forth.
The other person I heard it maybe was wrong. I don't know.
Ted Raimi, which is Sam Raimi's brother, as Produce Joe. Hey, buddy. And Bruce Campbell's in it for a hot second.
In the same movie, in The Intruder?
In The Intruder as Officer Howard, which a lot of people were like bait and switched into watching this movie because it's Bruce Campbell. Because this came out after Evil Dead 2.
He's in it, yeah. It's like a quick cameo. God, those are brutal.
Like 2 minutes barely at the end.
Man, you gotta... It's no shame, you know? It's a bit of an artistic integrity balance thing where you like do that kind of hook. It's like... It's like clickbait.
It's like 1980s clickbait.
Early clickbait, yeah.
It's like, oh shit, we got to get people into the seats. Well, nobody knows any of these other actors, but Sam Raimi's here and Bruce Campbell.
It's a good thing. It works out for those other actors, but it, like, as an artist, you're like, God damn, you're lying to people.
And a lot of people who watch it in this day and age are like, yeah, if you're watching it because it's a Bruce Campbell film, don't. Yeah. He was barely in it. But anyway.
Watch this scene instead, yeah.
So first off, we're going to start with a merrymaking trivia actuality, which is just a fun trivia fact. Horror fans will recognize a bunch of faces in the cast of Intruder, many of which have also been in Sam Raimi movies. For instance, Raimi would often put his brother Ted in his films. Ted Raimi played possessed Henrietta in Evil Dead 2. As she taunts Ash from the basement.
She's so scary.
I'll swallow your soul. You might also recognize him as Joxer from Xena Warrior Princess, for which Sam was an executive producer. So apparently Sam gets his brother in a lot of his films. It's kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah, that was from creepycatalog.com. And also, while I'm giving credit to this, I have a friend who's starting up a podcast that I think is going to be directly about old school movies and stuff like that.
Snap.
And she's super smart and super into this sort of stuff, and she's going to do it way better than I am. But I just want to give her props. If she already had started it, I would be definitely shouting her out right now and probably cross-platforming with her on this one. But until that point comes, I'm just going to shout her out now. The future shout-out.
What is it?
Future shout out.
Yeah, what's her?
She doesn't have. I don't know what it is yet. She hasn't even started it yet. She's in the process of creating it. Her name's Rachel, and she's very into this sort of indie film scene and reviewing.
Maybe
movies.
It would be kind of cool to have her on here to discuss starting a podcast.
Yep. I'd definitely have her on, and then she could probably even take what she learns and get the feel for it. And she's done one before. I think she did 3 episodes, and her partner bowed out. You know what that's like.
We've learned.
Yep.
A lot of stuff. You know,
So, anyways, I just want to shout her out because she has a great idea to do this for a full podcast, and I'm inspired. Anyway, so back to The Intruder. So it is developed by a production company called Full Moon Features. The film was produced by the stellar high-quality team at Full Moon Features. Also, side note, Full Moon Features is a film studio that rose from the ashes of Empire Pictures, or Full Moon Empire/Empire Pictures, led by Charles Band, which has brought us classics such as Baby Oopsie 2 Murder Dolls, the whole Puppet Master series, the whole Evil Bong series, Subspecies, Test Tube Teens from the year 2000, and Gingerbread Man 2 Passion of the Crust. Yeah, great.
You're not making any of this up, are you?
I'm not.
That's awesome. Okay, go ahead.
They have like over 150 titles streaming all the way back to 1971.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
But they produced this movie. They also came out with a movie which I did watch right before The Intruder.
I feel like sometimes they just make these movies just to have a reason to have a dope cover.
Yeah, they're just like, dude, that would be like, such a good cover.
They're like, look what Jerry drew. Like, Jerry drew this cover. We should make a movie based on this cover. And then they're like, okay, like baby doll killers from Planet Zon or whatever I don't know. I just made that up right now. It's probably already one.
Yeah, man. It's the titles that they have. But like the Puppet Master series were pretty popular. But other than that, it's a lot of campy slashers, which I have a great place in my heart for. They also made a movie with another team called Chopping Mall. I believe it was the same company. But I watched Chopping Mall before I watched The Intruder yesterday.
Chopping Mall. That's so good, dude. Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, and I'll give you... Oh, it was fine.
Like it wasn't that good. It's really mid.
It was mid plus. It was mid plus.
Fine.
It's about robots that defend the mall, turn evil, and kill anybody in its wake. After closing which, it's a security system that they set up to like protect them all, and they're supposed to decapacitate
badass.
bad people, and it's cool. Like the robots look like it's from Space Planet 2000, A Space Odyssey, or whatever the fuck that movie's called.
Planet Odyssey of 2000.
That's what it is. The running title. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I watched this one yesterday too, and I won't dive into it deep because we were talking about The Intruder, but some funny quotes from that movie that I had to share was Freddy was like, "Look, I'm sorry if I made you angry, Linda." Linda was like, "It's not you, Freddy. I guess I'm just not used to being chased around the mall in the middle of the night by killer robots." Just so out of place.
That was a quote.
That was a quote from Chopping Mall.
I'm just not used to being chased around at night by killer robots.
Yeah. Me neither.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, this is a common occurrence at this mall.
Couple more of these. Yeah.
Every time a kill bot killed somebody, it would be like, "Thank you, have a nice day," and it was just hilarious.
Yeah.
And then the last one was these two people were banging, and it was like the guy was like, "Oh, you smell like pepperoni," and then the girl
Why wouldn't you be banging?
Oh,
wait,
wait. Yeah. Oh, listen. Greg says, "You smell like pepperoni." Susie's like, "Well, if that's how you feel," gets pissed off, obviously, because that's gross, gets up and walks away. And then he's like, "Wait a minute." She's like, "What?" "I like pepperoni." And then they go back to banging. It's pretty hilarious. Anyways, that was the Chopping Mall. That's a side note.
Okay. So
maybe we'll delve into that one day.
No, I don't need to see that movie because I just got all the like highlight reel.
Oh, dude, yeah, you just lived the movie.
You know what's a great movie? Just a side note. Robot Jocks. Have you ever seen that?
No, but I'm
just
sure.
The word Robot Jocks with Jox. It's incredible.
It's like Jock Jams?
Giant robots.
Yeah.
No, it's just giant robot battle, but we'll talk about that after. You go ahead.
Hella. All right, so now let's deep dive into The Intruder. First off, I love campy 80s slasher fix. I believe it's some of the utmost freedom to directing and writing a movie. Like the point is just to have fun and ridiculous fun at that. I love that. It's basically like you guys could just sit in a writer's room and just come up with some crazy shit and get it produced, and it's insane. I love it. I love the
cool. I wish
artistic
I was
freedom.
Around for that shit.
Yeah, especially in the 80s, man.
Imagine that was your job, or even if you were just able to scrape a living off it, even or.
Yeah, it's so I love the whole artistic. Yeah, you know what? It's not masterpiece theater, but it is some fun, good shit, and you know
the stuff they managed to pull off. It's artistic. Those is pretty cool, though.
Especially in the 70s and 80s when you can throw some money at stuff like this, which is probably less and less to do this day and age for campy bullshit movies. I mean, maybe you can get it somewhere, but back in the 80s, it seemed like they were full of money for that. Well, it also, actually, probably just the fact of the matter, it costs less. It's not even the amount of money. It probably just costs less to produce certain things because the economy's so fucked. So, like, a couple of my favorite directors are David Lynch, which has nothing to do with any of this, but Sam Raimi, just because of all the stuff that they produce, which is very art house and very indie films. So Intruder. Spoiler alert. That sounded weird.
Sound like the tape skipped.
Spoiler alert.
Wait, does tapes skip? Hold on, go ahead.
Is there tape in these?
Yeah.
If you don't want to know too much about the plot, I'll be vague with the ending, but if you look at the cover art of the damn movie, it literally ruins it for you.
No one's going to watch it.
It's fine. And just saying, and I quote from www.imockery.com, there's the problem with the poster actually revealing the identity of the movie's killer. I'm not going to suggest that this is the kind of movie where everything leads up to a breathtaking reveal, but maybe don't just have your murderer on the cover when a central point in the narrative is trying to figure out who keeps killing all you dumb co-eds. Fair enough. So, in my personal opinion, the cast did a fine 10 out of 10 cheesy 80s campy slasher job. Exactly what you'd expect from an 80s cheesy slasher movie. The half into it, half out of it. Stupid response, stupid acting. But if it was any better acting, it would take away from it. So 10 out of 10 acting.
10 out of 10 B-level acting.
That's right.
Perfect.
Can you just tell me how much time we're on the clock there?
It says -75. What is that?
Oh, no. The time
is 18:37.
Perfect. Thank you. The plot line, as we discussed, is very straightforward, and I love it. I also love when they set a slasher in something else other than a sleepaway camp or the woods or some shit like that.
Location. Slashers.
I really appreciate movies done in the mall, and I really appreciate movies done in like grocery stores and stuff like that, like a slasher like this, it just adds more to it. When it's all done in the woods, basically just those classic things, like when you're a first ongoing movie producer with no money and you're just like, let's go shoot. Like I've done that a million times. Took a camera into the woods and shot something.
Because it's like, yeah, that's
free.
It's the metal band thing to do
Exactly.
too. Because there's nothing like man-made. You're not going to get like a McDonald's in the background that takes people out of it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like nothing more magnificent than nature, really, right? So that
it's
you
an
can't
easy way to do it. Sleepaway camp
I mean,
shit.
it's the reason why we're out here right now.
Not bad, but at the same time, yeah, precisely. Yeah, what am I talking about? But
Jesus Christ,
it adds a level when I love seeing them all. I just love seeing malls in the 80s and shit like that. So here we
should
go.
do one of these in the mall.
Yeah,
People in the background.
Does a podcast in the mall?
Yeah, let's do.
I love me some liminal content, which is a subject for another time as well. But just seeing the mall in the 80s and grocery stores from back then, something about it makes me weirdly happy.
Meaning liminal? What do you mean?
Liminal spaces is like, it's a brand of content. It's basically empty buildings. So like if you went through a mall in the 80s and it was totally empty, so it's not exactly like liminal, but like films footage of just empty places, it's creepy. It's almost an unnerving feeling of going, like somebody with a camera in the 80s going through a mall that's totally empty.
Yeah.
Liminal.
Sure.
So, but that... to go
in the
hand
film
hand.
capacity, yeah.
In the film capacity,
Cool.
You got 5 people in this big empty mall with all the 80s. It's like all out of the 80s. You see all the stuff that it was like in the 80s. It's super cool. I love it.
Is it in the 80s?
89. Oh, haha, because I said 80s 15 times.
Maybe. Anyway.
I personally feel like I lived back then.
And
it was the tits.
I wish I lived back then.
Oh, yeah, you
It's
were.
the most nostalgic. Oh, I did, yeah. I was totally alive for like 2 of those years.
You were
well, a year and a month.
You were doing a bit back then.
I was doing a bit. I did a 1.5 months back in the...
Yeah, it was a long bit. Yeah.
A long bit. A 1.5 months I was in the 80s for.
So one of the first things that got me into The Intruder, that really like, pulled me in, was the hamburger story. So I rate this hamburger story as funny as fuck. In the break room, Bill, half owner of the Malibu Lake Market or Walnut Lake Supermarket, it's called both, tells a story from when he was a volunteer firefighter. His crew were called out of lunch to the scene of a gruesome crash that resulted in a decapitation. With no head in sight, they spread out to look. As they're looking, his buddy Parker comes walking down the road, swinging the missing head by the hair and eating his hamburger with the other. It's not quite black eyes like a doll's eyes, but it'll do for Bill. And I actually have the audio recording that I will play and interject now. I can also play it for you right now if you want to hear it. Or I can just interject it.
Just interject it.
I told him it was lunch. I don't know what the hell it is.
Police haven't arrived yet.
The only time they show up is when you're speeding, then they're on your ass immediately.
Yeah, they're almost as slow as the fire department. Hey, watch it, Dave. I used to be a volunteer fireman.
Yeah?
You ever up, though?
Why? Too dangerous?
Well, not that it was too dangerous. Mind you, we didn't always just put out fires. A lot of times we get called out in accidents. And I'm here to tell you, that last accident I was at was enough to make anybody give her up.
Why, what happened? Not that I'm interested, but he's gonna tell us anyway.
Well, what happened was, we was all sitting around the station one evening having dinner, and we got this call that there'd been an accident out on 9 Mile Middle Belt. So we all dropped what we was eating and run out of the station. Well, that is everybody except for goddamn Parker. Took his hamburger right with him. And the first thing we get to the scene, the first thing we see is this headless corpse laying right in the middle of the road, and they can't find the guy's head.
Guy lost his head.
So Parker goes walking off down 9 Mile, looking for the head, still eating his goddamn hamburger. So everybody just gets through. They get themselves composed a little bit so they can do something constructive. They walk between the engine and the squad where the accident was, and they got off where putrescence was laying there and everything. And here comes Parker. Walking down 9 Mile, swinging the head by the hair in one hand and his hamburger in the other, and he's still eating it. Then, of course, needless to say, everybody just lost their cookies.
Wow.
And this guy goes onto the scene, and he's still eating his burger, and he just goes off about how he's eating his burger and waving a head around. It made me laugh. The another thing that happened in the movie, which made me notice happens a lot in movies like this, is calling out who's there in an empty parking lot when you hear a noise. I rate that dumb. It's
People
just
being like, who's there?
You,
And
like-
there's like no one around. Clearly no one anywhere.
a girl. She's getting into the trunk of her car and hears a rattling. And
Wait a minute. What? She's getting out of the trunk of her car?
No, she's putting shit into the trunk of her car.
Okay.
And she's like looking around and like, who's there? Because she hears a rattling. And then, of course, somebody's there and chops her up.
Chops her up. It's like, don't ask. If
Dude,
you
yeah.
don't want to find out.
If you didn't ask, you would you wouldn't be dead right now. Yeah,
Totally
that's
how
that
around
works.
still.
Yeah.
He's waiting. He's standing there waiting until she's going to ask.
Yeah. Wait, did she ask?
I'm there.
Is that the right person? Yeah.
That's too loud. I'm there.
Another thing that made this hella 80s that I really dug is the cigarettes everywhere. Everybody was smoking.
As a smoker, when you watch movies from the 80s or whatever, especially when they're indoors, they're like in like Casino or something, when you're watching everybody just light up like a, with their Zippo, like clink, clink, like
in the break room.
And they just get ready and puff on a smoke right in the middle to X out the point that they just made, and the thing about smoking, I've said it before, but the thing about in movies why it always looks so good smoking is because they never show the guy like, I swear to God, it must be a technique that they use in film. If it's indoors, that everybody looks like they're in control. It's like eminent looking, that the smoke is like curling off them. They always look cool smoking
majestic,
inside with no wind when it's still. Yeah. But if you want somebody to look all hagged and bedraggled, what you do is you get their smoke and you burn the shit out of it, and then you basically put it out, and then you have it in your mouth, and you get them in the wind and the rain, and it's like blowing around, and like a little, whenever they exhale, it's like a little shitty piece of steam comes out.
Yeah.
If that, it's like they're
fine accent to a fine actor.
That's it. Like, and that's like, shit's not going. It's not a nice, enjoyable smoke outside, right?
No.
All it is, they went outside and the person's hair's fucked up, and they breathe out. They can't breathe a nice coil out.
They can't breathe a coiler.
Ew. All right. Well.
So I rate this medium, but grosses me out because watching people smoke and eat at the same time is disgusting.
That is pretty.
I hate that.
Brutal. Yeah. No.
It's fucking gross.
No.
And right there, we're gonna take a pause just to switch over the tape. I'm gonna have a commercial for banana hammocks.
Banana hammocks.
What's the difference between a banana hammock and a strawberry hammock?
I don't know, because a banana hammock is something.
Banana?
Wow, you're changing it. You're gonna be so mad. We're never gonna get paid for this ad.
Listen to this banana hammock commercial and spot the difference between banana hammocks and strawberry hammocks. We'll be right back.
What is the difference between banana hammocks and strawberry hammocks?
One lays rest to a 6-foot chimp, and the other to a 3-foot ruber-shaped monkey.
Get it? I hope you delve into Andre's Rumpus Room development size banana hammocks. Perfect set for any dog, cat, or chimpanzee.
And we are right back.
And we're back.
I hope you learned something about banana hammocks and strawberry hammocks.
That was riveting.
Awesome. They'll pay us our $9.95 for doing that. I'll split it with you.
Oh my God. $9.95.
Okay, right back into it. The one thing that was like, but I mean, it comes pretty much hand in hand with all 80s movies is the essay, the very...
The Spanish guy, like...
essay, yeah.
Essay.
It comes hand in hand, all the essays in these movies. No, the S-A...
Awareness?
Yeah, against women.
Satellite awareness.
That's right, satellite awareness. The villain gets handsy with his ex-lover in a scene. She has said multiple times.
Yeah, is that a thing? It's like people get kind of like
just a little bit too much in movies, and it was very passable in the 80s. But like now, it's a little hard to watch. But she said multiple times for him to get off. She says no, and he gets pretty aggressive with her. It's used as a device to show how bad the dude is, but it still makes me feel uncomfortable. So my rating is yuck. Stop it. So like.
I think a lot of movies do that shit in the back in the day.
Yeah, tons. And it's one of those things that it's just like one of those where it wasn't, not that it's not as bad back then, but it's just extra uncomfortable now to look at it. And when they were in this film using it more as a device to show that this was a creepy, gross dude and that you weren't supposed to like him. Obviously you didn't. But because as I go back to the plot of The Intruder is the boyfriend walks in and he starts some shit at the grocery store. That was the plot of this movie.
You giving it up.
That was the plot, or so we think. Oh. But anyways, I said that at the very beginning. Anyways, so that happens and shit like this. They only did that once, and it was a little gross to see. But they did it without going past the line, I believe. So funny B-movie tropes and knee slappers is this next segment. Dude gets his headphone and head chopped in half. So like a guy with a knife comes up behind the dude, chops his headphones perfectly in half. I think it was
top of his dome.
And the top of his dome. I think it was Sam Raimi's brother.
Vertical headphones chop.
Just right through his head.
Okay.
He falls out of frame and a note on the wall says, "Knives are sharp. Please be careful." Perfect timing. It's like,
You're filming over there. Why? I don't know. I just got a feeling. Later they're like, look, fuck, that's so lucky.
That worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly described my point. The second one was Buddy gets sliced in half almost perfectly and is later found in 2 separate boxes.
Impressive.
Leaning on the box is a sign that says half off as advertised.
Okay, this is the whole point of the movie then, obviously. Is these guys coming up with like grocery store one-liners?
Yeah, my rating for that is yuck, yuck, yuck. Third one is a little less. Dude's head popped like a watermelon by a cardboard compactor, and you see a label on the box that reads, "New crush-proof boxes," whatever that means. And then rating is, I get the irony, but I doubt boxes are crush-proof, and it was a reach. Just said crush-proof.
It's a reach, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we put a trigger warning on this one. A lot of people don't like this sort of thing.
Oh, I'll put a trigger. Yeah, let's put something at the beginning. I mean, it's a slasher, but I'll put it at the very beginning. I'll just state it. I'll say we're talking about a slasher, talking about some graphic stuff,
movie horror stuff. Yeah.
I'll throw that at the beginning, and then so those are the funny. I mean, coincidences where like something funny happened, and then one-liners.
They're trying for one-liners.
Another trope that you see in a lot of these movies that's like whatever. I rate it mildly infuriating is having your back to the villain when you think he's dead. It's like
the double tap, man. You got to double tap.
It's like why?
It's
and
crazy.
It happens.
You ever lose when you had the upper hand so hard like that?
Unsurprisingly, villain twist, which I will or will not elaborate on. But like I said, the movie
you will or will not elaborate on.
Yeah. So like unsurprising, I have already elaborated on it, but that there's a villain twist. It's the cover that fucking shows it off. It's an M. Night Shyamalan before he was born, or when he was like 8. The movie cover ruins it in 2 Mississippi's Flat. There's another interesting, which I don't know why I added this. It just caught my eye. There's a Frosted Flakes box with no Tony the Tiger on it. Not a big deal there. It's just a box of Frosted Flakes with no Tony. It was weird. Rating that I noticed it.
How did you know? Did you pause and look at it?
It's pretty front and center, and it said Frosted Flakes, and there was 2 little boys on it, and it was just, or a boy and a girl on it. It was just like, I didn't know they made Tony the Tiger list Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't right at the beginning.
They didn't have that kind of money.
He joined up eventually. Yeah, he was a free agent, and they were like, "Fine, we'll sign Tony."
That's right.
Toucan was too much. Didn't have the Fruit Loops for it.
But they had Tricks and Lucky Charms guy in it.
Dude, that rabbit was strung out at the time.
Yeah, so he was doing it for whatever. Underwhelming plot line of why the killer kills. To say or not to say is the question. But it's literally the tagline of the movie. He is crazy about the store.
He's just not that into you.
Yeah. He is crazy about the store.
That's what it is?
That's the tagline. And
he's crazy about the store.
About the grocery store. Cool shot choices. I'm being vague, but not vague. You can still enjoy watching this. Some cool shots that I saw was he was like hunting after a girl, and they did like this cool face through the pickle jar shot where his face was all manipulated and shit like that. It was a very cool shot. A bad shot I noticed was the protagonist running between aisles, but they shot it really weird and looked like she was doing the Lindy Hop or playing hopscotch with a broken foot. I love cheesy shots. It was just weird. I rate this. Learn the Lindy Hop when your foot ain't broken. What? It was a weird shot. So it was like, I
don't know what that means. I don't know at all. What's the Lindy Hop?
It's just an old dance move. Basically, what it was there's a shot of her like, so they would like they're shooting it down the aisle, and you'd see her go from one side to the other, and they would stop, and then one side and the other, and then they would stop, one side and the other, and it just looked really like out of place. Like she was like,
trippy. It was
just kind of up, but whatever. Easy to judge.
Maybe they were trying to do it as a artistic thing, like time lapse art. I don't know.
It was off-putting, but anyways, not a big deal. Cool special effects for 89 though, and they only had a budget of $130K, which is not huge, obviously. There was a hand chop scene. Yet again, warning, what the fuck you call it? Trigger warning. There's a part where a homie stops a butcher knife in between his fingers. They did that really well, and it was really yuck looking. They used a bandsaw to chop a guy's face in half, and it looked fairly real for 1989 and 130,000. Yeah,
horrific. Yeah,
it's a very one of those kind of slashers, like not just like a knife, blood, and then the left is to your imagination. It was, yeah, they put some time into special effects, especially 34 years later. And then to wrap this all up, just a couple trivias, and then that's it. So the song that Randy, Sam Raimi, sings in the one Shelley is the one Shelley.
In conclusion, we have a short list of 50 things to bring us to the end of what this movie is about. Now this podcast is longer than the movie.
And just watch the movie. Yeah, if you made it this far, just watch the movie.
What is your podcast about the movie? Send in your podcast to us.
Word for word.
The movie.
Retelling of the movie. No, this is just 3 trivia facts of the movie. So the song that Randy, Sam Raimi, sings is the one that Shelley sings in The Evil Dead.
Oh, trippy. So they recycled the song.
Yeah. So he's singing a song that Shelley sings in The Evil Dead. Kind of cool.
Trippy.
The head in one hand, sandwich in the other, that whole burger thing, speech was previously used in Raising Arizona with Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter.
Why can't they write anything of their own?
Random things to rip, yeah.
Like shout-outs.
Some of the music used in the movie in stock audio from APM Music, The Killing Ground, and Heart Tracks was also used in a PC game, Labyrinth of Time. Have you heard of that PC game?
No, but Labyrinth of Time sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either. But
what year?
I don't know. That's all it said.
Okay.
I'm guessing like a 90s game or something called Labyrinth of Time or something.
Check that out, whatever that is.
I thought you'd like that one. That's why I put it in here. So overall, the rating is 7 out of 10. The Intruder gave me exactly what I wanted for a brain-dead evening on Xanax because I had 4 wisdom teeth ripped out of my skull to laugh and chill 2 while I was in mild pain. I love campy slashers. It wasn't too in your face about nothing, clearly. And the shooting was done very well. I thought the shooting was done very, very professionally and cool shots. Cool, unique over-the-aisle shot with a slant to give the viewer the impression they were eavesdropping on a private conversation. The attention to detail was apparent. And it was just fun and easy and a little spooky. Perfect for the upcoming fall season, if that's your ish.
It's everybody's freaking dish, bro.
I said ish.
Oh.
Then never mind.
Oh, never mind.
Anyway, so that was the Intruder.
That ain't my dish, homie.
That ain't my dish, bro.
Yeah, but everybody does. Like, who doesn't love fall? I mean, I guess some people are sad to see summer go, but everybody's like, oh my God, it's spooky season.
I more meant slashers, if that's your ish.
Oh, yeah. It's not actually that my ish. When you started telling me all about it, I realized how not my ish it is.
Yeah, everybody loves people seeing their shit
I do
ripped
like
by
it,
bandsaws.
I do like it, but it is cool and all, but...
Yeah, would you
I
watch
like
this
it
movie?
for you.
Would you watch this movie?
I watch it with someone else who liked it.
Yeah.
But maybe not now that I've heard all about it.
Would go out of your way to watch it? Yeah.
No, I don't go to my way to watch any movies, though. I'm not exciting. However, I am down to watch
Chopping
one.
Mall.
We should watch one, and then we should talk about it on here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just like, I'm imagining a movie through Dylan's eyes. Through Dylan's notes, in fact.
And dude,
but I mean, it's chilling. It's
and
cool.
my notes are a little... off the beaten trail, especially because I noticed things like Tony the
right
Tiger.
In the middle of the beaten trail, Dylan. That's what everyone says about you.
You need to know that Tony the Tiger was not on the box.
Yeah.
You needed to know that. It was crucial.
I'm glad that you picked out that. It says a lot about a person.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi's like, he's listening right now. He's like, I knew someone would notice.
34 years later.
See? This is why we do this, baby.
Oh man! So yeah, I told
them we don't want the money. Keep your money. We're going to do this on a budget.
That's so funny.
Keep it alive.
So it was a riveting romp of a film. If you like those cheesy fucking 80s slasher shit, I loved it.
I don't like anything 80s or cheesy, so. Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't like anything. What about 70s cheesy? Because that's the next one I got.
Oh, damn. All right, explain another movie to me.
So the year is 1971. They did not have Lucky Charms on the box. It was quite off-putting.
Fast forward 6 years from that point. When they decided to think about starting to get into film.
That's right. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed our reiteration and our telling and review of The Intruder. Mine.
Our incarnation and our... corporealization in our organization.
And I hope it inspired you to either watch it, or if you didn't, you got enough from what I gave you. And if this isn't your ish, then it's not your dish.
Now you don't have to.
Yeah, now you don't have to watch it.
You could watch now a different movie.
Yeah, so I just saved you. But check out Chopping Mall, man.
No,
less
that does
graphic.
Sound dope, though.
Less graphic. Cheesy lasers. Running around them all.
I like a good concept movie, right? Like you're saying, it's not just they're in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like, they're in the, the liminal spaces of old buildings. Like, they're in a parking garage.
It's in the whole mall, and it's like, it's artistic. I think it's artistic.
Well,
like,
the mall becomes the point of the story. Like, yes, it's a slasher film, but it's the one about the mall.
Yeah. And it's it's not supposed to be, like I said, late breaking masterpiece theater. It
they knew what they were
is the
doing.
point of cheesiness.
They're like, let's make a slasher movie, and we're going to do it in the mall. We're going to like try to, yeah.
Do it, and nothing
That's
I hate
the
more.
flavor.
Like I'm one of those people that I will absolutely ruin a movie if it's supposed to be intellectually like plotted out to a certain T, but there's one thing that doesn't make sense. I'll be like, this was a fucking amazing movie, but I automatically make it lose 3 points because I hate when a movie like that, not like a cheesy B movie that doesn't matter, you're supposed to turn your brain off, but like an intellectual, really purposefully written out movie has 1 point, which a lot end up doing if you actually look for it. It's like, why did this happen? Just because. There's certain movies that have like a just because plot device, and that makes me
lazy writing.
And lazy writing. It's like you like, and I ask.
Oh, you couldn't think of an ending, is what this is, or whatever,
or even a minor plot point, and it's the only purpose of that to happen. I'll think of some next time, but it's to make the movie progress.
Here's one of the main ones that I've said before, and I'm stealing it directly from Conan O'Brien's podcast, is where he says that his qualms with the Marvel movies is that the moment that they get to a point where the big bad is winning, everything, the villain has seemingly figured out, like the villain has figured out all of the problems here, and there's nothing anyone can do. All the heroes are down. Everything's terrible. And then what happens? A portal opens up in the sky, and through it pours a bunch of lazy writing.
Yeah, and
that's what he says, basically.
Yes.
Like, and I'm not the one. I just loved that he said that because that's what he said. A portal in the sky opens up, and through it pours a bunch of lazy writing.
I will forgive the lazy writing on a cheesy B movie because basically those are meant for just shit to happen and you to laugh.
Sometimes you want to use the cool shot you managed to get, but you got to write it in somehow, and it doesn't make sense. But you're going to do it.
Precisely.
Whatever.
But on a movie where it's like a higher budget and it's like actually written by some professional, and then there's just that one, and like it said,
you could pay any money and you're still not going to get it right. Like, really?
Could even be a very trivial minor thing that you don't need to sweat over. But for me, if you're writing like a masterpiece movie, like a huge blockbuster, and the only reason that happened was to progress the movie, and the reason was just because. And why did that happen? Because
we spent all the money on the CGI and no money on
right out of
the writers have no money, or the writers wrote something really dope that we couldn't make happen. That maybe the executives thought, the public will never go for it. It's too complex. They'll never understand, and so the writers had to go, okay, I guess a portal opens up in the sky. And they're like, perfect. Yeah. The kids will get it, like,
and they won't care. They'll overlook this one little thing. And it's like,
and that
fuck
way we
you,
can do mashups. We can cross promote the Hulk and Thor and blah, blah, blah all at once because they'll all come through the portal. It's like, it's kind of genius in some ways, but it's really not great writing. Right?
And like the portal thing too. Yeah. It's just like, and then in the nick of time, of course that happens because of course. And it's one of the things
right at the last second.
Yeah. It comes off lazy and there's even more like
there's tons of things. How about how Superman can catch a falling person and not explode them into vapor, but when he's like coming from across the cosmos to get them, like what the? He's actually that good at resisting, right? He's that good at like carefully cushioning, that's the answer. Just because,
I'll try and think of some like even more like some you may even think is petty to even have a problem with it, but
I think it's terrible. I think you are petty.
I am. I'm Tom Petty.
Man.
Yeah, I am Tom Petty. But
Tom Petty.
I'll be at a movie theater and I'll be like, why did that happen? I'll be talking to the person like, why? And then they'll be like, oh, because of this. It's like, well, no, but like, why did that exactly happen? And then they're like, just because. And it's like,
you're so fun to watch movies with, Dylan.
Yeah, I just bitch and eat my red vines.
Quiet. Anyways, $30 to watch this movie.
There's just I'm not actually that bad. It's just there's some things that will take me out. But anyways, point of all that, long story long. That's why I love cheesy B movies, which this one didn't really have any points like that. It all kind of just flew fluently. It flew fluently. And it was quite grand.
Good. That's good. I'm glad he was pleased with it.
But if something did happen and it was just like, oh, well, why did that happen? That shouldn't have happened. I'd have been like, you know what? It's a cheesy B movie. Fuck yourself. That's why, Dylan. And I would have had a strong word with myself, took it a piss, and shook it off. Tooken a piss.
Tooken's not a word, but that's good.
And I end on that perfect grammar. Anything else you have to wrap up with, Dano?
Not too much. No.
Perfect.
See, yeah, well done. Charismatic. No, thank you. You go. You say goodbye or something.
All right, peace out.
All right, man.
There's a podcast in the woods.
Thank you for taking us on that adventure through this campy B movie. I definitely need to involve more slashers and B movies in my life. I usually get to watch all the horror movies I watch are horror movies I watch are because of my roommate Chris and Kennedy and stuff, right? Like just throwing them on and sitting me down to watch that stuff. So yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll have to have like a spooky movie night where you come to my house and watch a spooky movie with me, and then we can actually both talk about what happened. Chris
or Kennedy. No, just us
not
two.
Chris. Yeah, I don't.
Are you
sick of Chris.
Steamroll us.
Yeah, I just decided right now that we decided to have a falling out for.
Okay, no, Chris. Sorry, Chris.
He doesn't know yet.
Yeah, I'm just deciding right now.
He doesn't know yet, but he'll hear this.
Why you have that plot device? Just cause?
Yeah, well, no,
I don't like that.
No, it goes deeper. There's very deep lore on why I'm gonna.
You'll have to explain later. Yeah, a portal. A portal came out.
It's all for comedy. A portal opened up and all our friendship poured through it.
Yeah, a portal of madness. Yeah, and sadness. Anyways, there's a
complete chaos. We should go inside, man.
Let's go inside. There's a podcast in the woods. Thanks for joining us out in the woods while we talked about a creepy story. Me and my chum Dano here. We look forward to seeing you in a later one. And if you like
chum Dano.
If you like this plot, you like this version of a podcast, we will do more of it. And other than that, though, I hope you enjoyed me.
Hey, we should
reenacting a shitty movie.
What up, Threads? If anybody's joined us here from Threads, I would love to know that. That is actually super cool. If you've made it here all the way from Threads,
Thread homies,
give me a shout. Tell me on Threads that you found my podcast, that you listened to this message that I'm telling you right now. If you tell me, hey, I listened to it, and here I am at the end of the podcast, you're a champion. You're a legend for making it this far, and I'll give you a shout out on the next podcast if you tell me.
Dope.
Okay?
Okay, word up.
Much love.
Much love. Sit in the seat and ass in the seat and appreciate what you appreciate perspective.
That's totally what I said. You have to rewind to get the English version. Okay.
Ciao.
Peace.
I'll be there now.